I don't know. I want better basically for the kids and for the mothers and the fathers too, because there are some good men that get caught up in bad relationships also. But what I want to talk about is, it's becoming so much of a norm for people to have babies with guys that they hardly even know. I just want the world to be a better place. And I think it'll be better if kids have both of their parents. I mean, living in the household with them. And I know sometimes that's not always possible. I know that. I do. I get that. I've experienced it. I've lived that, so I know. But still, I think it was a little girl was the dad. Listen, I am not here to be judgmental. I have had kids and wasn't married as well. I don't like to really just get on here and discuss my business. But what I'm saying is, if your ministry, if your life, if your testimony can help somebody, you're supposed to share it. You're supposed to. I really believe that. So when God gives you a lesson to learn, he also gives you a testimony when you come out of it. So yes, I had kids. Like I told y'all, I had my first child in high school, but I graduated college. That was one thing I told myself, regardless of what I'm going through, I'm going to give myself an education, because my degree was not to set myself above anybody else. It was to lift myself up so I could come back and help other people. And that's my purpose for being here. I like to cook and share, but I like to also share my experience and the things I've learned and how what I've learned have helped me and helped other people. It has helped other people. Some who will give me credit, some who won't, but God knows. I don't worry about that. I don't. I'll see some things that I've said or done here people do. Won't acknowledge that, and maybe it come from me, maybe it didn't, but I'm just saying. I always acknowledge a person when they give me insight about things or make recommendations that make things better for me. I always do, and I always will, because my light won't be dimmed by helping yours to shine. It won't. But anyway, so back to the child support thing. I'm rambling. I always ramble, don't I, y'all? But I'm real. I keep it 100. That's what I do. But anyway, so what I was saying was, the foundation of the family is so broken, and it's sad to see. I know it's some women. It was a lady, my sister, real good friend. She worked with the youth in our church. She used to drive the van and everything. And do you know that if and I know a lot of women, and this guy, one of our DJs, had said that one time. He was saying that his mom and his aunts, if you had a baby shower and you wasn't married, they wasn't coming. They were not coming, because they didn't condone, sex outside of marriage. And it kind of seemed like you're being judgmental. But then when you think about the consequences and stuff after you have a child and going through as a single parent and your life not being your own anymore, because any real parent is going to put their child first. And that means that you got to put God first, then your children. And so you don't become the center of your own life anymore, if that makes sense. Not a good parent. Now, and and it's not to offend anybody, but I see a lot of women. I know a lot of women personally who have left their kids to be raised by other people. And I say, if you're a grown woman and the Lord bless you to have a child, and you can leave that child and not know where that child lay his head, if that child has eaten, if that child is clothed and fed and loved, then you're not a mama, you a mammy. I'm sorry. My heart goes out to kids that have to go through that. It's just so unfair. It's just so selfish of the women. Especially a woman that's had a mother. I don't know, y'all. I don't have the answer, but I just know that like I said, I've done it. I've been wrong. I've been judged, I'm sure. In fact, I know I have, because I'm going to share a story with y'all. So, it had this guy that I was dating in high school. And, my senior year, I worked. So, I wasn't really going to all of the functions and stuff, because my senior year, look at them. I had my daughter, and like I said, I had a job. So I was a single parent that when I had my daughter, I had to grow up and do what a real mother does. But it was a guy that liked me, and he was family found out that he liked the girl, and the girl was me, and that I had a child. His mom, and he didn't, I think he was embarrassed to tell me, but one of his girlfriends told me. She said his mom don't want him dating somebody with children. I don't know, to be honest, it's been so many years ago, y'all. I'm 55. I've been out of school 38 years. Yeah, it'll be 38 years in May. So I don't remember what my reaction was. I probably was hurt or whatever, but it's just something that happened. So I could understand, because as a parent, I wouldn't want my daughters to get involved with somebody in high school that had a baby, and I wouldn't want my son to. I'm just really being real, y'all, because it's a lot of responsibility. And so I just wish more young girls and boys will realize that, you know, that feeling that you get from having sex is temporary, but that child is permanent, forever. You know, and so I don't know. What do we do? How do we change it? Where do we start? I don't know, but we talk about gun violence, we talk about crime and all that, but all that stuff I think starts in the home. Because I look at some of the kids here lately on the news, they had 20-year-olds, 15-year-olds, 16-year-olds, all of them got first-degree murder charges. And my son getting ready to be 21 this year. And you know, you can't say what your children won't do. You just cannot say that. You cannot. And my pastor used to say all the time, when I was out smoking, he still tell you, when I was out smoking dope and drinking, I wouldn't do it in front of my parents. So don't think because you don't see your kids doing it that they don't do it. You know what I'm saying? What I'm saying, doing things that you saying that they won't, because you don't know that for a fact. But yeah, so where do we start to make a difference? How do we change the situation? Because, you know, it used to be that and like me, when I had my daughter in high school, I was ashamed. I stopped going to school. And but after I had her, I went on back to school. I graduated with my class, and I went on off to college. But I had a very supportive family. My mom and dad were still together. See, that was a plus for me. My mom didn't even drive, so my dad and my mom took care of my baby while I went to school. But guess what? So anyway, what do we do, y'all? I mean, we talk about crime and stuff and what we're gonna do, but all that starts in the home. Like, on weekends, what do you do with your kids? Do you spend quality time with them? Do you set standards in your home? Do you set limitations? Do you have boundaries? Are your kids able to talk and use foul language, curse and stuff in front of you? Do you and your significant other, your husband, your whoever, stay in the house with it? Are you always arguing? Are you setting the standards and stuff? You know, are you in a relationship with somebody that's been living with you for a long time and you aren't married? See, the thing about it is, like I said, I'm not here to judge, because I've done things that I'm not proud of, but I want to live a more Christian life, and I want every aspect of my life to be blessed. I mean, from my personal, my professional, my relationship, I just want every part of my life to be blessed. And I made a decision in last year that in order for me to have a better life, a better Christian life, I was going to have to let go of some worldly things. And I've done that. I have allowed, I'm taking away, I'm being less, I'm allowing God to take up more of my space than I'm allowing myself, if that makes sense. I'm just trying, like I say, I ain't perfect. We all make mistakes. We all have to learn, but that's where I am in life right now. It's kind of, not without telling all of my business, but it's just I made some life changes, and that's the reason I did it, because I won't, I don't want to be in church professing my love for the Lord and then still reading the Bible and comprehending and still doing what, like I said, I'm not perfect. I still make mistakes, but I'm learning, and I just want to do better. I want to do better. And it's baby steps. We don't know everything. We're going to make mistakes because we're human. But at some point in your life, especially with me being 55, I lost my mother. I lost a nephew and a sister in 1 year. And then I lost a sister that January, they found one of my nephews dead. And then I've lost 2 brothers, and I mean, we just had death back to back. And just here recently, supposedly they hadn't made the announcement yet, but one of my little cousins was murdered. And then my son, one of his little cousins was murdered in January. It's just, y'all, it's a lot. And so when I start reflecting on my life and realizing what's really important, I could, if I could tell any young girl or any young boy something, I would tell them to abstain. And I've talked about this before, but it just stay in my heart, because it just stay on my mind, because I see the other day I saw a young woman. She had a baby in the stroller, a baby on her hip, and another child walking on the side of the stroller. And I'm like, she was by herself. And I'm like, man, where's the dad? Is the dad? He could have been out somewhere working. But she didn't have a vehicle because she was walking. There's nothing wrong with that, But what I'm saying is, man, we want better. I just want to see us do better. If you have one child and you're single, until you have a husband, don't have another baby. It's just too hard, because you're only one person. You only have 2 hands. I don't know. Like I said, I don't have the answers, but it bothers me, because it's acceptable now. You can have 10 kids, and children are blessed, and I understand it, but you can't tell me it's not hard. If you got 10 kids and you got to provide for those kids every single day of their life, and like my mom say, kids eat one meal all day long, 365, 24/7. Man, that's expensive. You understand what I'm saying? I don't know. Kids are resilient, and so are the parents, but it gets hard. It gets hard. I don't know. I think I'm rambling. But back to the child support thing. I feel like if we can start the kids off young, letting them realize that sex outside of marriage is a bad thing. It's not something that's okay. You could do it, and you're gonna be okay. Because there are consequences. I met this guy. He worked with me, and he told me his dad told him, son, you better not ever lay down with a woman you don't want to marry. Because if you get that lady pregnant, I don't care if you love her or not, you're going to marry her, and you're going to stay with her and raise those kids. And that's what he did. And she took a little summer job working in the community, at the community clubhouse, because they had a pool in the community and stuff. She did that. But during the school year, she was a full-time housewife and mother to those children. That's all she did. Yeah. I don't know. I just want the world to be a better place. There's just so much killing and so much hate, and the kids not feeling loved. And that's why when you go into the schools, or I'm just driving down the street, right, and I see a little kid, the hair not combed, they got a snotty nose, the shoes dirty, or some of them be walking with no shoes on. It makes me sad. I'm like, man, the parent don't care about them. Because there's no way I would send my kid out looking like that, man. It's just, I don't know. I don't have all the answers. I don't know. Sometimes it just makes me sad to realize that in a world where you have all the opportunity and one mistake changed your whole life, and then the second time is not a mistake, but you keep doing the same thing, it becomes a habit. But it's difficult. It is so difficult. All right, y'all. Like I said, I'm rambling. I might be able to make a video out of this. I may not. But with the child support thing, I'll talk about it later. Y'all got to go. I'm getting full about it. Bye.